Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea, and here we talk all about personal finance in a way that is guilt and shame free, because who needs that? So today we are going to be talking about my second June paycheck and kind of just going over my budget. On my channel, I already kind of reviewed my overall June budget. However, things change. So we're gonna talk about it here right now. Let's get into it. First thing, we're gonna talk about my monthly goals. So I set out to continue expense tracking, send an extra $100 towards debt, budget both paychecks, save $400, and have 3 budget dashboard sales. Just a quick review, I am still working on the expense tracking. That is something that's happening, but we still have a couple more days in June, so I don't wanna mark that off yet. We have not hit the 3 budget dashboard sales, but I am happy to say that we have hit the 3 other goals so far. I'm so proud of myself, and I am so grateful that I was able to do this. So those 3 goals are to send the extra $100 towards debt, which I was able to send an extra $125 with that last paycheck that I just got. So grateful for that, I will say, because there were celebrations and events going on, and I want to attribute that to being realistic with my budget. Folks, I will say this till I am blue in the face. You have to be realistic with your budget. I feel like in the past, there's been so much trial and error, right? But in the past, I would be over restrictive, or I would not be realistic with myself. And then when time came for the actual event to come, I was feeling just overall such negative feelings, and it took away from the joy that I should have been experiencing in these events, in these celebrations, doing these fun things, creating these memories with my loved ones and people that I enjoy to spend time with. And no more. We don't do that anymore. I've said it in the past, if being overly restrictive is your thing, it's not mine, so you will not find that on this page. When it comes to personal finance, especially in this economy, it's so easy to have negative feelings about where we are, where we stand, what our paycheck looks like, what our wallet looks like, what our checking account looks like, what our 401k looks like, whatever. And so however we can minimize those feelings, it's best. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, because that was long. Anyways, so I'm super proud that I was able to make that goal happen while all the wonderful memories were being made. Next thing that I did accomplish was budget both paychecks. Again, my previous budget with me is on my page. And last but not least, save $400 I was able to do as well. And now we're gonna jump into the changes for my budget. For my full-time job, I received the amount of money that I thought I would receive. And then there were extra funds in my checking account that I didn't just want to sit there. I am a person who believes every dollar deserves a job. With that being said, I didn't just want that money just sitting in my bank account, not doing anything. So I put that as rollover money in my budget. So that was $25, and I added that in there so that I can budget it. Next thing, we're going to talk about bills. So there were a couple of changes here. First of which being that the car insurance was a little bit lower than I expected for this month. So I made that change. Also, my electric bill came in a little bit higher this month as well at $135.61. Again, made that change on my budget, and it auto calculated it for me so that I have the correct numbers. And outside of that, I just marked all of the bills that I have already paid as paid, and the ones that I'm still waiting to pay as due. So we have our Hulu and alarm system that are not yet due, but will be soon. So that's why those are marked that way. So moving on to debt, I do have a quick story time here, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit more about this. But basically what a balance transfer is on your credit cards is that you can transfer one of your balances from one credit card to another credit card. And the nice thing or incentive about these balance transfers that normally you have a certain period of time where you are paying 0 interest towards this balance that you've transferred over. Now, I want to preface this by saying that most, if not all, I'm not really sure, I don't want to say all if I'm not sure, but most, if not all, balance transfer offers mean that the amount that you're transferring over, there will be a balance transfer fee that you have to pay. And the ones that I'm used to seeing are about 3% to 5% of your balance. So let's say you are transferring over $3,000 to that balance transfer card, right? Now that balance transfer card company is going to charge you that 3 to 5% of that $3,000 on top of you still have to pay the $3,000 to them. Again, the good thing about it is that it is 0% interest for a certain amount of time. Sometimes it's 15 months, sometimes it's 18 months, sometimes it's 21 months. Just depends on the person, depends on your credit, different factors like that. So it just depends on who it is. Full transparency, I have done this in the past. I have done a balance transfer before. I will say this time was a lot easier, but I'll tell you more in a little bit. But I have done it in the past, and I will say that things did not go according to plan. And what I mean by that is that I had a certain amount of time with the 0 interest that I thought I would be able to pay the entire balance off. Now, that's not exactly how that went down, and the 0 interest period ended before I paid off the entire balance of the balance transfer card. So what ended up happening was that I was then getting charged interest on that money that was in there. Kind of backfired a little bit. I did end up zeroing it out. I did end up paying it off. However, that could have gotten not so great really fast. With that being said, I have learned my lesson, and I figured, why not give it a try again? Now that I am more disciplined with my finances, now that I have paid off my car, so I do have a little bit more money that I'd be able to allocate towards an extra credit card payment. And it's just gonna be helpful to not have that interest eating you up. Interest is terrible. Like, it sucks. It really does suck. It really does keep you stuck. I wanted to give it one more try and see if I can tackle a lot more of that debt faster. If you guys want me to make like a separate video talking just about balance transfers, please let me know, because I would be happy to talk more about this. It was really as simple as just like writing down the credit card number in the app and saying how much I wanted to transfer. And it would like show you how much that balance transfer fee was. You just hit submit. Within, I think it was like 7 to 14 business days, that balance got transferred onto that account. So I'm already able to pay extra towards it and all that. I do have a 0% interest rate for now. And I think the period of time that I have, it was like 15 or 18 months. I don't remember off the top of my head. This is something that I am really gonna kick myself in gear for. Listen, I'm not perfect. Do I think that I would pay off the entire balance in the time period given to me? Who knows? But I will try my darn best. And it's so much better than having so much interest accruing that I can't even make a dent in any of this. Again, if you want me to talk about this in a separate video, I totally can. I am not recommending a balance transfer to anyone. I'm not saying you should totally do this or it's gonna be perfect every time. Nothing's gonna be perfect every time, but I did want to be transparent with you. I am sharing my personal finance journey. And if it does teach anybody or enlighten someone, then I've done my job. That's the journey that I'm on right now. We'll figure out how things go and we will try our best. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I just wanted to share that while we were on our debt section here. But as far as any changes or tweaks since my last video of debt, I will say the one change that I did make was that I paid a little bit less to my Apple credit card just because the minimum payment was already met. So I'm just really trying to tackle that interest. Again, interest is a problem. Like, are you not busy? Do you need extra work? I'm busy. I don't know. I did just put a little bit less just so I could allocate that money towards something else. And then I did make an extra credit card payment again to that new balance transfer credit card. So I did make the payment of $125 instead of the $100 that I was aiming for. So those were the changes in that section. Moving on to expenses, nothing has changed here. Just the same old, same old. So we're just kind of skip on that one. And then we have our savings, which this did change. Our savings challenge was exactly the same. If you're new here, I had ChatGPT create a savings challenge for me so that I can save $1,000 by the end of the year. I did pluck both of the envelopes for both of my paychecks. I got $15 on one envelope and $70 on the other. So I was allocating $15 from one paycheck and $70 from the other. And that came up with the $85 there, so that did not change. The events fund did change. I think we went a little bit lower on events, if I remember correctly. So that was something that changed. The travel stood the same at $200, so $100 from each paycheck. And then health was at $60 for the month, which I did take out from my last paycheck, giving us a whopping $646.85 for savings. And last but not least, you know we always need to have a visual here. I love visuals. Show me the visuals. Anyways, we have our monthly breakdown where you can see how all of the money is allocated. Again, if you purchase your budget dashboard, you will be able to see that as well. It will auto-populate for you as you are filling out each different section. You can see that for the month of June, 14.9% of my income went to savings. 15.6% of my income went to debt. 21.6% went to expenses. 47.9% went to bills. And that is the breakdown for the month of June. All right, friends, so that wraps up this video. Again, if you have any questions about anything that I shared today, or if you want me to chat more about the balance transfer card, please let me know. I am happy to do so. And the question of the video, because you know I always have one. I'm nosy. Y'all let me know. The question of the video is, have you ever had a balance transfer card? Have you ever had a balance transfer experience? And if so, how did it go? Tell me the tea. I want to know. I already told y'all my first time did not go according to plan. And that's life. You know, we live and we learn. We get up and we try again. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll chat soon. Bye.